Yay! Happy New Year, consultants and friends. Happy New Year. It is the first week of July. We are so excited about a new seminar year, and I'm going to teach you a little bit about goal setting and how to triple star and what that even means and just how to level up in your business. But first, let's take a hot second. One thing we tend to skip over is celebrating what we've done and the progress that we have made. And so if you're watching this, put in the comments, like, what's the progress you made this year? What's the personal development progress you made this year? Because friends, that is the most, I call that the capital W work. There's little W work, which is book and selling, recruiting. And there's the big W work, which is working on you. And so take a minute and just really look at your progress. Even if you didn't hit your goal, what was your progress from this last year? That is the most important thing, is looking at what your progress is. So that's step one. So yay, congrats to you. My team wrapped up our 4th Circle of Excellence in a row, which is super exciting. I'm so big about that consistency. It's so important because, okay, and here's tip 1 on goal setting. Here you go. I'm just going to hit you with it right away. One of the mistakes that I see a lot of people in Mary Kay making is that we are chasing goals instead of building a business. And so what that means is, it's not wrong to set goals. I have goals too, but the goals that I set are backing up an intention that I have about building my business. And because I've built my business that way, I don't ride a roller coaster. How many of you are sick and tired of being on the roller coaster? Like, you're just, one year you're this, and then next year you're this, and then one year you're this, and then next year, you guys, it's exhausting just even thinking about it. I like this, right? And my business has always been like this because I focused on building a business. So before you start goal setting, here's some things to kind of ask yourself. Okay, so number 1, what are some things I did well this last year? List those out. Number 2, this is a big one. What skills do I need to work on and improve? Now, I don't know, I've been doing a lot of thinking lately, and I think, especially if you've been in Mary Kay a long time, okay, I had to have this thought for myself, and so I'm gonna hit you with it too. What got you here isn't gonna take you there. I think the hardest thing about being in this company a long time is that we think we know how to do the business. And we do, but we can always be constantly tweaking and improving and doing things differently based on the business environment at the time that we are doing it. Okay, so friends, what got you here is not going to take you there. And I don't even mean just here as in this year. I mean, what has gotten you this far in your career. I think about that a lot. Like, yes, there are things I have to tweak. And so along with that, what are some skills that you feel like I need to work on? So for example, I've been in the business 19 years, and I really want to improve and just think about and be strategic about how I'm working with new consultants. And I did change a lot of things this year, and I'm loving how I'm working with new consultants right now, but how can I make it even better, right? And so what is your skill? Maybe you sell like a beast, you can book like a beast, but the recruiting part isn't so much there. So that might be a skill, and just something to be really intentional about. So just kind of looking at that and going, what do I want to develop different this year? What outcome do I want to be different? And then here's my best advice about goal setting. If you are someone like me who struggles with setting a goal, because it's like, okay, how many of you have ever done this? Totally done this, where you hit something, right? And then after the fact, you go, oh yeah, that was my goal. Yep, that was the goal. No, it wasn't. You just hit something, so you said it was the goal. I've totally done that. So don't do that. Instead of setting a goal, I want you to set an intention. Okay, so what is your intention this year? And then what you do once you nail down the intention is set a goal that supports that intention. For example, okay, so if you're a consultant in my unit or a director, it doesn't really matter, right? So let's say your intention is, I just generally speaking want to have more money coming in every month so I can take vacations with my family. Okay, so that's an intention, right? What's a goal that supports that? Well, depending on how much, it could mean that you are either a Princess Court of Sales achiever or Queen's Court of Sales Achiever because of the amount of customers and sales it requires to hit those goals. That profit from that is going to help you with that intention. Okay, so that's an example. Maybe you're a sales director and you are tired of the roller coaster and you are ready to earn a trip, or you are ready to earn a Cadillac, or you're just ready to be making the big girl money that you deserve to make as a sales director. And that's your intention. Like, I want to build a strong unit. Okay, so that's the intention. I want to build a strong unit. Well, what goal is going to support that? I'm just going to put it out there. It's triple star. And I'm going to give you some tips on how to do that and how to think about that. Because I really believe I've done it enough that I believe anyone can do it. It's really not, I think it's one of those things we make really big in our minds, but I'm going to give you some tips on how to do that. So that's going to build a strong unit. Gosh, I don't know, your intention could really be anything, but the point is that you set the intention first and then looked at the goals. Because again, everyone's chasing goals. They're not necessarily chasing things that are going to help them, with their intention or what they want to get, what the end result is supposed to be. So, and I find that you're going to be a lot more motivated about what you're doing when you first set that intention. And it's so easy at the beginning of July, which we're here, I'm wearing my like Go America stuff today. I'm feeling very festive, to just kind of skip that process and go, I just got to dive into the new year and get going. And there's some truth there. You don't want to wait forever, but just sit somewhere quiet and just have some time and go, okay, what do I want to look different in my business? What do I want to have more of this year? And the other thought for you is, what are you going to do this year to protect your energy and to increase your energy? And again, here's somebody said this once, and it was a very wise thing to say. Wealth is a high energy source. Okay, so it can't be created from low energy. Wealth is a high energy source. So if you're looking to create wealth in your life and your energy's low because you're not excited about what you're doing, maybe you're holding on. I see a lot of people in our company right now holding on to like, can't believe they're changing things. Oh my gosh, girl, you got to let it go. Okay, because we're going, right? Whatever it is, what is draining your energy? I actually had to do this exercise in November. There were some things draining my energy and I had to look at it, and then I had to do something about it. So that might be part of your beginning of your goal setting, is what's draining my energy? What can I do about it? And you guys, a lot of times in Mary Kay, we say, well, if you're doing stuff that's draining your energy, delegate it. I'm going to give you permission to just stop doing it. Okay, it might be something you need to delegate, but sometimes it's something we just flat out need to stop doing. And it takes courage to stop doing it. I'm just going to tell you that. It's not like always easy to stop doing the things we know we need to stop doing, because it might be unpopular or whatever. But you know what those things are. We all have different things, but I know you know what your things are. So, but those will help, whether you're a consultant or sales director or consultant by unit. Those are just some tips. So with that being said, I want to give you some tips on how to level up this year, because I listened to this amazing podcast, and I think I've talked about this in a different video, but I want to reiterate this. Whenever we go through a crisis in history, human beings go through 3 phases. Okay, so the first phase is like shock. Okay, so we had COVID, in case you forgot the big event we had in 2020. Shock is, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. What are we going to do? Freaking out, shock. It's shock is shock. The second stage is empathy. This is where we're like, are you okay? Self-care days, me days, self-care everything. Yeah, just like checking in on people, whatever. Okay, so that's phase 2. Phase 3 is, okay, people, COVID was 4.5 years ago, right? It's time to move on. Stage 3 is productivity. It's time to get back to work. It's time to get back to winning. It's time to get back to doing what we do. And it was such a great podcast. It was Brendan Bouchard who did it. It was just like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of people like Mary Kay friends, people in my unit, people on my team who are still in phase 1 and phase 2. Okay, so friends, it is time to be in phase 3, which is productivity. And so taking a look at these things, how can I improve? What can I do differently? And maybe you're just hungry to level up and do something different. Okay, so I want to give you the framework that's going to help you level up this year. Now, I got to tell you this, if you've ever heard the expression, leaders are readers, I always giggle when someone says that because I'm like, I read romance books. Does that count? No. Okay, so I had a girlfriend, Jordan Twilley. Her and I talk a lot, and she goes, Emily, you got to read this book. You got to read this book. I want to see what you think of it. Now, okay, full disclosure, I have a tiny library of business books that people have told me to read. And I get them and I read maybe 4 or 5 chapters and I'm just kind of like, okay, I got the gist. I'm kind of over it, right? If you've ever done that, I'm sure you have. I mean, we all have books we haven't read, right? This book, not only have I read it, it is completely transformational. I bought it twice because I had it on audiobook and I'm like, that's not going to cut it. And so if you are really looking to level up in your business, just trust me, don't question it, just get the book. Okay. And I don't get paid to endorse this book. I'm just telling you, it is one of the single most insightful business books. It has created so much change in my unit in the last 3 months and just going forward in this year. I can't even tell you. So I'm going to tell you what it is, but it's called 10X is easier than 2X and it's by Dan Sullivan. I mean, just look at this. Look at all the different 20 billion things, notes I've highlighted, I've written in it. It's so dang good, you guys. 10X is easier than 2X. And it's just going to give you the framework for how to make a leap, how to go from beauty consultant to pink Cadillac sales director, how to go from sales director to trip director, how to go from trip director to national. There's an amazing chapter on rest that I think we all need to read. I mean, I'm just going to tell you to get the book. And the other thought I had as I'm reading this, I really think our company is Ryan Rogers is trying to 10X our company, but a lot of us are stuck in 2X thinking. And it's just, you guys, it's so exciting. It just gives you the framework on how to think this year. Okay. So if you are looking to 10X your business or just, make a leap this year, I want to talk about triple star. So triple star is when you do, and it doesn't matter. I don't care if you're a beauty consultant right now or a sales director, anyone watching this could triple star this next year. It is when you do national quota sharing with 24 qualified, national quota sales with 40,000 retail sold, and unit club, which is when your whole team sells 300,000 or more in a year. And so I want to talk about this because I never set triple star as a goal. And I've done it. Okay. I think this year I finished it again. I did it. This is my 8th time. I have one time. The first time I earned it, when you earn the little horseshoe part of your necklace, I actually set the goal to do triple star. I have never since set the goal to do triple star, yet I have hit it 7 more times. And it's because I always start the year with an intention. And my intention is the only reason I am doing all of the things that I'm doing, whether it's holding parties, booking, selling, all the things, is because I want to find the women who want leadership and want more in their life. Okay, so my intention is to go to parties to find my next leaders and to find my next amazing unit members. And that is why I'm doing it. The secondary reason might be just to know what's going on in the business environment so that I can teach it better to my people and to my consultants. So my intention is always, I am looking for leaders and I want women who want more and who are moving up. And so that leads to triple star because I am good at finding leaders, right? Like my directors are all personal team members. My DIQs right now are personal team members. And they're bringing up great people behind them. So it's exciting, right? And again, if you're sick of riding the roller coaster, it never hurts to find good people. And I always say that about quota sharing. Like if you're just doing quota sharing to get a B, it's not going to lead to anything. You're going to get a little bit of momentum for a while, but it's not going to go anywhere. But if you go in and say, I want to add 24 women that genuinely want to work this business with me, it's going to change everything. In fact, I almost quit Mary Kay in 2012, and that's exactly what I did. Is I'm going to do quota sharing with the most intention I've ever had and just see what happens. You guys, it led to sales directors, it led to $500,000, it led to everything. And so everything starts with the intention, not just like box check-in, right? We like to box check sometimes. I've done it. You guys, my first 2 Bs were I'd be checking boxes, right? But when you can get intentional and say, I'm doing this because it's gonna be really cool and you're gonna have so much fun. So yeah, so that's my first thought is get the intention behind it. And then the way to do it really is you being out in the field, holding those full circle parties, right? And not just holding them, like you're not just out getting leads to get leads. You're getting leads with the intention of getting bookings, with the intention of holding full circle parties, with the intention of finding these people. And I find that if I focus on the core of sharing within that, the rest comes. Like because I'm doing 10 or more parties a month, I'm selling enough to do quota sales. Because I'm doing 10 or more parties a month, and I'm really intentional about team building, and I've really worked on that skill. And like that leads to quota sharing. And then because you've built the numbers, it's going to lead to that unit circle. And here's what's exciting, you guys. Okay, so take what you did, whether you're a consultant or director, take what you did last year, like you and your team retail, right? And this is maybe more for sales directors, but whatever your team did for unit club, or if you didn't hit a unit club, what was your total retail at the end of the year? And then I want you to add 100,000 to 150,000 to that. Where would you have been? Because every time that I've done triple star, it has added between 100,000 and 150,000 retail to my units year-end retail production, because you're doing 40 or more thousand retail. And I don't even remember the last time I did 40,000. I think this last year I just did 60. The highest I've ever done was like close to 90, right? Just myself. And then you think about adding 24 qualified team members to your team. Not only are you getting the retail from them selling all year, but from their free product bonuses and all the things. I always talk about retail breadcrumbs. So where would you have hit this year with an extra 100 to 150,000 retail? I don't know, that gets me excited because I love going on trips, and I love the connections that I make as a result of those trips has really helped 10x my business, and that type of thing. So that's really it, you guys. There's really no secret to triple star. It's just that you're consistent. You're doing 10 to 15 parties a month. Personally, I know that sounds, if you haven't done that in a really long time, it sounds like a lot, but I promise you, it's only hard for the first month or two, and then it just becomes a system. And it just kind of runs itself, and you almost have to stop it in order to stop doing that thing. So just start July off strong. And you know what? I've had it where I come hot out of the gate, and I think the earliest I ever finished triple star was January, maybe December. This year I didn't finish it until June. So every year shakes out differently. And so don't give up on yourself. That's the other thing, whether your goal is triple star or you're a beauty consultant looking to, get in your red jacket, like you've got to believe it and act like every month of the year is June, because that will make all the difference too. If you're sick of hitting the same goal, like you and your unit or you and your team have hit the same goal every year for like 3 or 4 years in a row, you can check that box. You've got that consistency. The way to level up from that too is to make, like, what if you created the same excitement every single month that you created in June this year to finish a goal? I did that to go from 500,000 3 years in a row to 650 and earning the circle of excellence. So that could be a fun thing that you start, like you're doing how we make the little like thermometer countdowns, like you start that in July, even though it looks really bad and really bleak, like you start it now and you start hyping. You're like the hype machine, talking about it now and how we're going to do this. And the key is, no matter how bleak it looks, you are still hyping it all year long, every single month. It will make a difference, and you'll attract people to your team differently, and you're just going to have tons of fun. So I hope this gives you some tips. I can't wait to see some of you at seminar and just celebrate with you. Excited to celebrate my amazing team and all the things that they've done, and my sales directors and whatnot. But yeah, have a great 2024, 2025, and take the time to set your intention for this year. It will make all of the difference. Bye, guys.